Welcome to another episode of Money, Math, and More. I had a response from my last video. A friend of mine actually was asking me a question as far as some investments that he was planning on doing. And one of those was putting some money into Ford stock. And he gave me some information, and he actually done some math himself to kind of estimate what kind of returns he would get based on just doing the investment for the dividends instead of not doing it to see if he can get a quick return on the value of the stock, like buy today and then hopefully sell next month for a big increase. But anyway, for a long-term investment is what he's looking at. And so he told me a few things, and he is investing $2,000. And so I want to talk about this and see how this is going to work out for him. Now, currently, on January 6th, 2016, at 12:55 Central Time, Ford stock was at $13.20. All right. So, the information that he had given me I really didn't notice a fee that he had wrote down. If he had written it down on the information that he gave me, I probably overlooked it. But I'm just going to be assuming that he's having to pay a $7 fee on his purchase. And so for a stock of $13.20, for $2,000, of course, we're going to have to subtract the $7 for the purchase fee. We know that's going to come off the top. So right offhand, we can figure what we're going to get for $1,993. So we just divide that by the 13.2, and it looks like we'll be able to round that up to 151 shares. So let's see what that is. Okay, so surely he can come up with 20 cents to make that 151 shares. So that equals $1,993.20. All right, that's his initial investment. And what he's planning on doing is quarterly, when he gets his payout from the dividends, which currently on record, the dividend is showing 15 cents per share. But that's still based on information from last quarter. That could change this next quarter, but of course that we don't know yet. So this whole scenario that we're going to do, we're going to base it off of this price and this dividend for the whole scenario. And of course, both of these can and will fluctuate one way or the other. For a long-term investment, if there's fluctuation in the price, it may go down a couple of dollars. I wouldn't be worried. If it goes up, all the better. Now, if you're looking for a short-term investment and you've got several $1,000s, like $10,000 or something like that, and you buy this stock and you're hoping for it to go up $1 or 50 cents to sell it to make a profit that way, if the stock goes down a couple of dollars, then you would probably be worried because you would end up holding your money tied up longer than you would want it. But for a long-term investment, price fluctuation is not going to be a big problem with Ford stock. So, all right, starting off, he's got 151 shares, and we're going to plan on a 15-cent dividend. Very simple math. You just multiply. And so his first payout on the first quarter of the year is going to be $22.65. And now we're going to assume that the brokerage that he's going through is going to automatically reinvest his $22.65 into Ford stock, which is going to give him partial shares. But also at the same time, quarterly, he was talking about taking $300, which he's going to save up $100 per month to invest also. And so we can add this all together. And then, of course, we're going to have to take out $7 for a purchase fee for this $300 right here, because when he does his own purchase transaction, there's going to be a $7 fee. And so that's going to leave him with $315.65. So let's see what we have here. 315.65, and that is going to get us, or get him, 23,912. So that's that fraction share is going to be picked up off of that automatic purchase from his brokerage. And so we're going to add the 151 plus the 23.912 shares that he purchased, and that's going to be 174,912. So he's going to be starting in quarter 2 with that many shares. And from that, we can do the simple math again to see how much dividend payout he's going to get, which is that. And again, we're going to add the $300. Add that together. Oops, ignore that line. Alright, then we're going to minus the 7 for the trade fee. So that's going to give him 24.184 shares for that quarter. And that's going to give him 199.096 shares starting quarter 3. And from that, he will get 29.86 cents. Add that to 300 that he's going to save up. 329.86 minus the 7, 322.86. And do the math to see how many shares he's going to get at the end of the quarter. That's going to be 24.40 or 459. Okay. Alright, starting in quarter 4. He's going to start with 223.555. Now this is going to be the last quarter of the year, but he is going to have one more purchase at the end of the year. No, that was supposed to be a 3. Alright, and that is going to get him $33.53. Add the 300, 333.53 minus the 7. That'll give him 326.53. 326.53 divided by the 1320 is going to give him 24,737 shares. Alright, so total shares by year end is going to be 223.555 plus 24.737, and that will be 248.292. Alright, now how much is this worth? Simple. We're going to multiply that times the value of the share, which it may be more or less by the end of the year. We don't know at this point. So his value is going to be $3,277.45. The amount that he had invested in this scenario, $2,000 starting off, actually $2,000.20, because he had the $2,000 over here minus the $7 trade fee, which left him with $19.93, and to round up to get that whole share right there, he had to add 20 cents in. So it's $2,000.20 plus the $1,200 he had added throughout the year for a total of $3,220. Alright, now what we'll do is we'll take the $32,775 minus the $3,220, and that's going to be $77.25 gained. Now that doesn't look like a whole lot, so let's figure out how much he had actually gained. By doing that, we're just going to take the $77.25, divide that by the $3,220, and from that he is going to have a 2.41% return. Now that doesn't seem like a real big return off of a forward stock, and the reason why is because of this, and this. 7 times 5, $35 in fees. That hurt his return value. So looking at this on a long term, if he was to do this year after year, I ran a spreadsheet with those same numbers, and if he'd done this year after year for 5 years, at the end of the 5th year, quarter 4, he would have 682 shares. And those 682 shares is going to be a value of $9,002.40, as you can see we've got right here. So again, total amount invested $2,000, and then if he invested $300 per quarter for 5 years, it would be an additional $6,000 for a total of $8,000 invested. Total dividend gains, here we go, invested $8,000, total value by the end of the year, or end of the 5th year that is, $9,002.40, gain of $1,002.40, which is not a bad gain, but you got to look at the aspect of it being 5 years. And total, I'm calling this a compounded gain of 12.53%, which for a really long-term gain, I mean, that's not too bad. But the only problem with that is if we take that 12.53 and we divide that by the 5 years, that gives us a total annual return of 2.51%. The downfall to this is that the annual rate of inflation is 3% average. Some years it may be more, some years it may be less. And so at this rate right here, you can see he's not keeping up with inflation. And so in your investments, if you're not keeping up with inflation, getting at least a 3% return on your investments per year, you're losing money. You're doing better than just sticking the money in a jar and putting it on the shelf, but still you're losing money. So how can we fix this? Not too hard to fix this. Got a different scenario I'm going to try to go through real quick. And basically the same thing. What we're going to do is take the $2,000, and of course we're going to minus the $7 fee, and just like the last time, he's going to start off with 151 shares. Now, that 151 shares is going to get us $22.65. Now, like I said earlier, I'm assuming his brokerage is going to let him automatically reinvest that money directly into the stock, and that way he doesn't have to do it, and there's no trade fees. And so instead of him adding $300 to this, just let it do it on its own. And so that's going to give him a 1.716 share. We add that into the 151. At the end of quarter one, he's going to have 152,716. So starting quarter two, 152.71. That's supposed to be a 6, not a 5. 152,716. Again, checking out the dividends. That's going to be his dividend payout for the second quarter. And again, he's not investing $300 in. He's just letting the stock reinvest into itself, or the dividend reinvest into its own stock. And we're just adding it up is all we're doing. Quarter three, 154, 451. That'll round up. I'm hitting my keys too fast. That's not right. There we go. It works when I push the right keys. 1.755. Starting with quarter four, 156.206. So at the end of the year, he will have 157.981 shares. The total value of that based on the current price is going to be $2,085.14. And his total invested amount is going to be $1,993.20. So his gain off of that, we can do the subtraction. It's going to be $91.94. The reason why there's such a difference in these two is because of those trade fees. You can see, without having all the trade fees, he's gaining $91.94. Now, of course, he's got a lot less shares. He only has 158 shares right here, and over here, by going this route, he has 248 shares. But he's not having to pay all those fees, which, by doing so, let's see what his return is by doing it by this method, $91.94 divided by the $1,993.20, a return of 4.61%. And of course, I'm going to double check my math real quick. Okay. Well, I put 14 right there instead of 34, which that would be 35. and so that was off just a little bit, but still pretty much pretty close. And so you can see a 4.61% return by not investing an additional $300 every quarter, compared to 2.41% return by investing and paying those extra fees. And I ran a spreadsheet on those figures also, just to see. You can see I've got the number right there. Instead of 0.14, it's 0.36. Okay, so if he'd done this for 5 years, at the end of 5 years, he would have 187.161 shares. His dividends for that year-end quarter, 2807. He would gain 2.127 shares at the end of that quarter, and the value of the 187 and the 2 down here is going to be $2,498.60. Total invested actually would be $1,993. And so we can figure this real quick. I'm going to minus that. So his total gain is 505.4. We're just going to cover that up because I did not take out the $7 trade fee, so that would be $1,993 plus the 20 cents that he needs to round that very first share up. So 505 is going to be his gain for 5 years. And so it's going to be pretty close to this. So for 5 years, he's going to have a total return, overall compounded return, of 25.36%. And so his average over that 4-year term will be 5.072. And the reason why it changes from here to here is because of the compounding effect year after year. Individually per year, it's going to be less than 5%, but year after year, as it compounds, you're gaining more. And so when you divide it up and average it out, your average is going to be higher. And so that is going to be the better scenario that I think he should take. As far as for the $300 per quarter, I think it would be good to look at a different stock that has a higher rate of return on their dividend, or look into a mutual fund. There are mutual funds that have pretty decent returns, but on a mutual fund, I would not look at anything that doesn't have a good history. You want to look at the 10-year average and see how they're doing, and then also look at the 5-year average. To me, the 3-year average really doesn't tell you a whole lot, so I wouldn't pay too much attention to it or the 1 year, because of the way the market fluctuates. But as far as mutual funds, I would definitely focus on these two and see how they're doing in comparison to other mutual funds. And that could be a good route to put that $300 quarterly into. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you learned something from it. Again, if you have questions, please ask. The questions will challenge me, help me to learn. My goal is to help others to learn, and also to help me learn at the same time. And so please subscribe and rate the video how you liked it, and we'll see you next time.